And there were still a lot of other options we could have taken here, were there? Do any of them lead to something else? Yes. That we need key 20 for. That we need 10, 11, and 12. Here we could reveal a guardian. Here we could vote. Okay, so there's still like a lot of different options. I think we'll go through them from the bottom up, because that will, keep us the most like in the loop of what is actually happening. So we'll go back to this. And I actually want to go and find out what on earth he was talking about. So we'll see what comes out of it. I'm voting for Takumi. Nobody seemed to have expected my declaration. The room was filled with commotion, and I could hear some of them whispering. It was mostly along the lines of, what's he thinking? Or, I guess he knew I guess we know who we're hanging. This was a strange and heavy-handed way to go about this. However, I felt like it could lead me to gaining Takumi's favor. I had my doubts though, it was a serious gamble. However, I also had a feeling that if I chose anything else, I wouldn't survive the night. Oh, did you have a feeling? How could you know? What's this about, Fuzashi? I had to carefully phrase my response here. Settling on what words to use, I said, I want to protect you. He did show some confusion, but the more pronounced emotion by far was anger. Pure rage. After all, by not voting for Mamiya, I just condemned Tai to death. You're doing the same thing as Kaori and Chiyomi? That's all I have to say. The hell? I couldn't say too much. My goal here was actually just to make him feel like something was up. That was why I had to end this feast with words that stayed in his mind. Well, I probably had to prepare for a punch or two. It was an awkward moment, but I stayed silent. My turn. You know by now, but I'm voting for Yamawaki. It's decided. Oh, it's decided. With those words, everyone stood up like it was rehearsed. Hisako and I were a bit behind them in that regard. Then I saw the villagers' faces, which seemed different from Uematsu. Rope. Yes. Takumi, pour some sake for I. Bah. You were a naughty child ever since you were small. You never changed your mind about what you thought was right, but you were always gentle. That hasn't changed. You still grew up to be so big. Yoshiko must be proud. I always thought of you as my real grandma. You were like real family to me. Don't cry. We'll meet again at the home of Shinai. The old lady smiled and drank her sake. Then the rope was placed over. I shall tighten it. Do it. Rikako twined the rope around her twice and tied her hands behind her back. It was simple but necessary. The process continued. The dimly lit hall was filled with dark emotion. Lament, chagrin, and gloom was heard in every sob, whimper, and movement. I felt like I was watching a family grieve for an elder dying a peaceful death. Hisako Mamiya silently mouthed the words, "They're insane." I shared that sentiment wholeheartedly. Shinai's guardians are. We passed through the mist and walked toward. 1 snake, 2 monkey, 3 crow, 4 spider. Everyone was singing prayer to Shinai. Shinai's guardians are. I couldn't tell who had started it, when they did so. 8, Death of the Damned Yomibito, and 8. The sobbing mixed with singing made it seem like an old funeral, but it was actually an execution. Painfully slowly, we walked through the path leading to the cliff next to Saranaga. I was already used to this, thanks to all the cleanups. 7. The corrupt Yomibito rise to oppose the mountain. Before I knew it, even Mamiya and I had joined the singing, creating a perfect unity group. Eventually, we reached our destination. It was downhill, beyond the trees, wet with dew, in a grass field covered in stones marking the lives of those who live here. Strangely enough, the aged pine tree right at the end could be seen easily despite the mist. As we stopped, so did the song and the ocean. Got any last words, Tyre? No birds could be heard, and the wind was still. Perfect silence surrounded us, Hanzo. I'm not thinking of coming back from the dead, but I don't know what kind of place I'll find there. Honestly, I'm afraid, but this is for the sake of Yasumizu. I curse you, woman. Her voice was crystal clear, and now bore an unmistakable hatred. Mamiya remained silent, and everyone aware of what was about to happen prepared for the final prayer. You could say that this is the heart of our religion, a graveyard of the hanging pine. I knew this was an important place for them, but I didn't know anything else. However, I did feel like they were acting with absolute precision, like they were meticulously rehearsed actors on stage play. 2 of them coiled a rope around the pine's large trunk leaning out toward the cliff, while another one skillfully made a noose out of the other end. Kanzo took it in hand and looped it over Tyre's neck. Rise not. Not. It was the first time I'd heard those words. They were probably a final goodbye and signal. And with that, the old lady's small frame went to the cliff. A second later, the rope went. At the same time, an inhuman sound came from down below. After a long silence, Shunai's guardians are 1 snake, 2 monkey, 3 crow, spiders. The song was sung again, and it was obvious who started it this time. After repeating the song a dozen or so times, Hanzo walked up to the pine and cut the rope with a sickle. Was there a sound of her falling down? If there was, I could hear it. Not saying a word, we all returned to the plaza. Everyone seemed to feel like we'd done something, not beyond that. We'd passed a point of no return. No, that probably wasn't right. The point of no return was passed a long time. This just made us realize it, and even then I didn't know if anyone besides Mamiya and I felt it. The villagers might have begun feeling like this the very moment the mists came. I thought about that long and hard. It made me feel something like remorse or powerlessness, both of which were unproductive emotions that really dulled your focus. The locals, however, seemed to feel differently. They did look like they were in a state of emotional numbness, but it seemed to be a result of something other than shock or a sense of loss. It was something more unnatural. They seemed like empty husks. I had a thought once that the real problem wasn't the monster, but this state of being. We returned to the dining hall. Oribe. Yes. Make food. Good. Stay in the dining hall. I'll look around. You stay too. There ain't nothing dangerous in the mist besides us anyway. I'll be back for food. I'm going back home. Takumi. I won't die. Jeez, I've walked that path thousands of times. If anything kills me, it'll be a bullet from your gun. With that as his parting shot, Takumi. Rest of you stay here. And so Kanzo left. He had no intention of playing along. He planned to resolve the feast with his own two hands to the very end. He was even capable of convincing Tyre to accept death. As long as he was alive, he would continue to command the humans as a strong but harsh leader. However, I felt like I'd seen his tough facade crack only a little just now, probably for the first time ever. Though Takumi was considered to be the local young leader figure, Hanzo seemed to constantly underestimate him, thinking him too soft. The softness in this case was simply common sense and consideration, useful things in any other situation. Looking at it from that angle, that supposed softness now seemed conspicuously absent. Tyre's death had changed something in Takumi, and it wasn't yet clear it was for the better. Overcome by awkwardness, we barely talked, simply watching time go. I had brief chats with Kaori and helped her prepare the food. She seemed to be composed and took it very seriously. No meat? We don't practice asceticism here. Let's eat normally. Every line spoken felt like a secret chat between partners in crime. It felt really weird. I knew full well we'd done something inexcusable. Despite that, I wasn't feeling the normal amount of shock and guilt. Perhaps because the moment Tai Yamawaki died was neatly cordoned off from everyday life. The song, the farewell, all of it might have been ways of separating the event from their daily lives. It seemed like, no how, they had to slightly lower the emotional burden from killing one of them. Did they think it up naturally? Or did they remember it? Done. Yes, just now. Soon enough, we gave out the now familiar veggie and shishinare soup along with some rice. Oddly enough, everyone still had their appetite. However, since Takumi hadn't returned, we ended up eating with one person unaccounted for. And not just him, there was one more empty seat that had been occupied this very morning. Shit. What the hell is this? Hey, Hassan. It felt like it had been so long since someone called out to me. The others likely felt the same, which was probably why it attracted some attention. What? Aya's gone. What's he getting at? Was he trying to get me to talk about it? Yeah. Fortunate. Is it? You could have protected her, right? Stop it, Mochi. From Hawaki's perspective, I was as shady as Mamiya. Yeah, that's why I didn't want to vote for either of them. The people who voted before me were the ones who left me without any other options. Not us, though. I don't see why you chose to vote for me, though. It's fine. You're a good dumping ground for votes, and it's not like everyone suspects you yet. Just saying that as if you do. Yeah, right now I think that the Giorno, you and Hassan are the wolves. I wasn't the only one who jumped. Everyone looked at Mochi and I. Oh man. I know I messed up a bit here and there, but I didn't think that even you didn't trust me. Sorry. It's not about trust. I don't really care about that. I just wanted to know how the wolves were feeling. They can stay up late and do anything, even kill. Sounds great. I'm actually jealous. Mochi, leave it at that. We don't have proof that Mamiya is a fake. Yasunaga stopped him because he noticed how strained Mamiya's expression was. However, he said that while looking at Kanzo, making it very clear who was in charge here. Shikamoshi, come here. Huh? I don't wanna... Come over. Mochi tried to ignore him, but the pressure got to him. He slowly got up and walked over to Kanzo. The old man just slapped the cross-dressing board. His light body collapsed on the table, and the one to soften his fall was... Okay. Ow. What about you? Your bones alright? Yay. Those two sure got along well. Violence isn't the answer. Little late for that, don't you think, you senile fool? We don't talk about the feast outside the feast. Everyone knows that. Stop it, Shikamoshi. Alright. Journal lady, Hassan. Sorry about that. he didn't have any ill intent, did he? He was probably as eccentric as he was because he was exceptionally observant, but had poor social intelligence. I don't mind. I can't blame you, really. But I had no idea how to help out Mamiya. She was so tense she could burst at any moment. Mamiya, I do not believe both of you. Uematsu. I apologize. There is something important. Please allow me to talk about it. Mamiya, who do you intend to use your guardian's power on? It's up to me, isn't it? No, Shinai gave the guardians for its sake. You must use it with us in mind. Right. Who should I investigate then? Yasunaga, you think? Me? Personally, I'd like to clear up all suspicions regarding Nosato. I would appreciate that. He had a high chance of both being a candidate for the hanging and the snake's investigation, so Yasunaga probably wanted him to stop being a safe retreat for votes. However, Mamiya was a fake. I was tempted to reveal that, but had to restrain myself. Alright, I'll look into Nosato then. I'd also like the spider to protect me, though. Okay. That wouldn't do. Why? We decided that here the wolves would simply go for someone else. The spider already saved one person. That alone is impressive enough to leave them again. I see. That's true. Uematsu. That it? Yes. Sorry for being too forward, Maki. Going out again. Hanzo, being here for too long is uncomfortable. Can we walk around? Better than dying. He had a point. Positions and roles were completely different from last time, but I felt like people would die if we split up. Ciao for Takumi. He uttered those curt words. Out. Yeah, he's taking Bar Steph pretty hard. Heh, so the big guy's a softie. Yoshitsugu, come here. What do you want? We'll be upstairs, Mom. Wait, I will go with you. Ah. Oh, wait, Yasunaga. Huh? Daishi, can you take care of things here? Of course. The Oribes went upstairs, leaving the dining hall with just two of the students. Inosuke, the old wolf guy, Chiemi, Rikako, Meikyo, and Mamiya. Myself included, that was 9 people. A few numbers away from the total. What a pain. I share the sentiment. How long will this go on? The mood softened up and everyone finally began speaking their mind. Hasan, you're a wolf? No. But a guardian? Who knows? Wait, we're not supposed to talk about it, right? That's just old people talk. If you ask me, this is something we should be discussing all day long. I kind of agree with him there. Mochi, do you know something? Is he good at deduction or something? Mochi, what do I do? Just talk to me. Get used to him already, he won't bite. Go on. It's nothing big. Mochi just has a good intuition. What a shame. My crazy brain computer doesn't work right in this mist. Come to think of it, you talked big yesterday, but didn't have much to show for it today, did you? I still suspect you. Okay. I won't blame you for that, but could you at least be more friendly with me? It feels like there's a wall of ice between us. I mean, you seem like a playboy. I mean, she's got you there. So that was the reason, huh? This reminded me that when we first met last time, she assumed I was Chiemi's boyfriend. Was it even possible for her to have a better opinion of me? Getting along with her wouldn't hurt. I'll clear up that misunderstanding later. What do you mean misunderstanding? Though, honestly though, I wanted to say more. You're lying. Just let me talk and then Oji made it all go to waste. Is that how it seems to you? If you ask me, it felt like Yasunaga Oribe was covering for Haruaki. Oh, she was treading into dangerous territory with that. I felt that way too. Yasun really trusts Hassan for some reason. I wonder why. They're both the argumentative, logical types. You don't get many of those here, so they're probably happy to find the kindred spirit. Haruaki, you prefer to talk to those you agree with? As long as the talk is good, I don't really care. You dislike women who are bad with words? Don't worry, I'm sure I can encourage you to use your mouth. My mouth? Haruaki, you ran away because of trouble with women, right? Whatever do you mean? Mikako, he's probably a real bad boy. You shouldn't humor him any further. Bad boy. Run away and leave him to me, the super bad Chiemi girl. I might have a fondness for bad boy. So that's how it is, huh? Mochi, is this what a fight between adult women looks like? Pretty sure adult women fight by slapping each other with it. Okay. You've got my attention. You disgust me. That was certainly one way to change the subject, though I do understand why you'd want to lighten the mood around here. Well, maybe it's fine. I still think Fusashi's shady, though. Honestly, being seen that way made things easier for me. Yasunaga was probably relatively certain that I had a guardian. He might have realized that I was planning on revealing it today and presenting them with the info I got. Then I changed my plans after seeing what had happened today. That probably made him even more certain about what I was. However, my actions made sense if you assumed I had a guardian. Otherwise, I was just a scared fool saying whatever I could to survive. That was why Yasunaga took charge of the conversation before I said something important, drawing attention and Kanzo's ire to himself. Because of that, Haru and Chiemi still thought I was irrelevant, which meant that Yasunaga's plan worked. I could only hope we didn't have any more mochis around here. I didn't want anyone else putting me under a magnifying glass like he did. Mikako was only elevating me because, like she'd said yesterday, she believed I was brought here to save them. It could have been some other feelings she had for me, but whatever the case, she stood up to any negative remarks about me. In a way, my current situation was well balanced. Old man, you're a wolf or got a guardian? I see. That was communication? Yep, that's what makes him fun. Fun. You're talking a lot today. Old man, say something perverted. Where did that come from? Get it out. Don't act like you're not interested. Want to hear my true urban tales of lust? Huh? Elaborate. There, caught her. Of course Rikako would be interested. You perv. Oh, what do you mean? Why are you treating me differently than Haru Makishima? Hey, I'm just glad that the Mystic Beauty is a normal girl inside. Though I'm not about to lose to you on that front. Care to try? Whoa, it's happening. Also so dirty. This is a living hell. You can always go back to the Nosato mansion. I'm not leaving this place at this time. Guess you'll be shot by the old man. Or Muro. Think Takumi will go out of control over the shock from losing Tai? It's a definite possibility. I've known him for a long time, but I've never seen him look as cornered as he did today. Old man Makishima also said to watch out for him, didn't he? So that was what it meant, huh? It seemed possible. It was still daytime, but he wasn't here. What was he up to then? And how would this affect the negotiations I was planning? Was a spelling? Maybe I was close to my limit. Maybe I should go check on Muro. Huh? But it's dangerous to go alone. Kanzo will seriously shoot you. I believe Kanzo might see himself. Mochi, isn't that considerate? You always say that, but I honestly think that he loves you a lot. No, we barely even talked for the past half year before the feast began. He's just the silent type. That intrigued me too, but I had to focus my attention on Takumi. However, if I went and did something about that, I'd probably attract the attention of the wolf. This was difficult. What was I supposed to do here? By the way, Yasun's family sure is taking their time. I'll go listen in on them. Hey, don't. But what if they're the wolves? We can't let them meet in secret, right? Haru was shocked for a moment, but she really didn't have to be. Yasunaga is a monkey, so there's just no way. Exactly. If Yasunaga Oribe turned out to be a fake, that would mean that old man Makishima was a fake as well. That would be awful. True. All three of them simply couldn't have been the wolves, so there was no problem with their secret chat. However, eavesdropping isn't good, but neither is meeting in secret. Such things draw suspicion like they did just now. Right. Mochi, Haru, call them. Why us two? One's fine, right? I don't mind. Let's just go. Yeah, this wasn't a role that could be left to a single person. The secret chats would increase the likelihood of conspiracies and hidden pacts, perhaps resulting in lawless murders like last time. However, at the same time, there was the risk that someone, especially the wolves, could find out about such pacts without the parties knowing. The wolves left their houses at night to kill people, meaning they could have all the secret talks they wanted out in the night mist. We humans could only have secret talks during the day, where we risked being heard by other inhabitants, wolves. Overall, the wolves had a way bigger advantage on the intelligence front. By just meeting up at night, they didn't have to have any chats during the day. In fact, they could just focus on listening. They could also agree on what roles they would take. Which one would pretend to have a guardian, which one would side with the humans, which one would gather info. By eavesdropping on humans' secret chats, they could gain info without the humans even realizing someone was listening. That was why people couldn't be allowed to go off to listen to these chats on their own. It would imply they had ulterior motives. Jamie had realized that just now, huh? She sure had some tact. Did that mean that she suspected Mochi though? When Takumi said he was the snake, I had a bad feeling coming over me. Oh, it felt like I could hear the wolves laughing. He certainly had sharp intuition. This reminded me that he'd just asked me a leading question, whether I was a wolf or had a guardian. Did he perhaps realize? Whether he was human or wolf, he might have known that I had a guardian. Had Shimi stopped him from going off on his own because she saw him as dangerous? Perhaps I had to use my snake powers to investigate him. Shit, this was complicated. Upon returning, the Oribes wore docile expressions. But they didn't have anything to say, they just returned to their seats and that was that. It seems they came down at about the same time as the two students went to pick them up. This was the first time I'd seen him so serious. It made him look a lot like his brother. Large eyes, a straight gaze. He probably inherited those features from their late father, the Higuchi. I couldn't help but wonder what they talked about. Yasunaga probably wanted to scold Yoshitsugu, while Kaori probably was concerned about how they were holding up. I did think it was important to have a strong will in this situation. An outburst of violence would be quickly silenced, and we couldn't afford to lose potential votes to that. The feast was built around the premise of killing people through logical deduction, and letting that foundation crumble was not an option. Otherwise, we'd quickly be overwhelmed by madness and blind murderous rage. The only ones who'd benefit from that would be the wolves, who had the upper hand in information. It's quite uncomfortable here, Sama. Something sweet, but She presented us with something, and I had no idea what. What's this? Anko? Nope. My bowl had something grey and paste-like in it. It was steaming, too. Oh, it's taco. Everyone was overjoyed and began digging into the paste with their chopsticks, so I had no reason not to do it, too. It looked like Anko and was about as soft. I brought my face closer and it actually had a good smell, like cubic rice crackers. The steam made it obvious, but it was pretty hot. Sweet too. Above all else though, it smelled really good. It reminded me of barley or rice. Grain basically. Tea. It just happened to be sweet. It's hataiko, parched barley flour stirred in hot water. Is that what it's called outside? Well, it has several names depending on the region. It was really popular before the war, and you can still get it at some supermarkets. Yes, locals have been making barley flour and eating it for a long time now. That's what someone told me. No one commented on her correcting her. I've never heard of taco though. Perhaps it's a mutation of hataiko? Even in this situation, Mamiya was acting professionally. Though everyone lightened up and made room for some idle talk, no one brought about anything about the feat. No one was in the mood for it either. However, I was sure that just about everyone here had thought the same thing, that Hisako Mamiya was a wolf. He was a bad liar. From what I'd seen during the previous loop, Haru was the same way. However, since she was a bit of an eccentric, no one would notice if she acted a bit unnatural. Mamiya, however, was clearly the cool and intelligent type, so the sudden change in her behavior immediately stood out. It didn't seem like it had anything to do with the burden she had as a snake, or fear of the nightly attacks. If she had nothing to hide, she would calmly defend her actions and do something to help her survive the night. The first impression was a very important thing. She was lying. Everyone thought that, not just me. I wasn't able to get them to accept the badger's existence as fact, so they all should have assumed she was a woman. On top of that, I was thinking about what she'd do and what I'd do with her tomorrow. Enjoying the simple sweetness, I continued to think all by myself. Time passed. We weren't too hungry, but had dinner, rice gruel, 5 p.m, then split. Takumi had yet to return. Go back already. I appreciate the help, but this is my job. Just go back. Crap. The bluff from yesterday was too strong. I had absolutely no intention of laying a hand on a widow with teenage sons, but Yoshitsugu was acting like a real knight protecting a princess. Well, he's insisting, and you've been great help so far. Why not go and rest early? I will do just that then. Hope you fall in a fucking field. It's your language. See you tomorrow. Yes, you too. See ya. See ya, huh? That made it seem like he didn't see me as a complete enemy. I had no idea what he was thinking. What had they talked about back there? I was a bit curious. I'd probably have to ask Yasunaga to find out. As I walked to my hut through the dark mist, I ran into the students. Ah, Hassan, you're early today. Do what you have to and let's go back. We were waiting for you. Hope it's not a bother. What do you need? I couldn't sense anyone else hiding in this dense mist, but that didn't mean there was no one there. Also, the only one out of these three I could trust was Yasunaga. I hoped he wasn't about to reveal something dangerous. I wanted to thank you. Thank? Yes, you stopped Yoshitsugu yesterday, didn't you? He told us. Whatever do you mean? Though I can't say I approve of your methods. Huh? He even mentioned that? Yes. Oh, can I go hit my head on that rock and die? It's fine, he said it helped him cool off. What's this about? This sounds lewd. Anyway, if he knew that much, I didn't have to hide it. Mochi held Haru back while Yasunaga and I continued talking. Sorry about that. I needed something to provoke him, and it was the only idea that came to mind. I see. He's single-minded, which is good, but he doesn't seem to have a clear position in or outside the feast. Yes, that's why I wanted to tell him to actually use his head, but Mom... What did she say? Just something ominous and boring, but that also helped Yoshitsugu cool off. It didn't seem like he'd get any more detailed. I see, so that's what you three were talking about. Yes, please don't suspect us. Yeah, he would never do anything bad. You're way shadier than him. Well, Hassan probably thinks that Haru and I are both shady. Anyway, that's it. Also, sorry for being so helpless. What a grim face. It was the same as the one he made when his efforts to prevent Tai and Mamiya from being lynch targets turned out to be in vain. Don't be. I'm the adult here, so that's my line. To be honest, at this point only Haru's grandpa has any real power. Don't blame yourselves. Everyone's powerless before the mist. You said something normal for once. I'm holding myself back as Yasun and Haru are here. That made sense. We'll be going then. Be careful, Fusashi. They'll bury you if you're dead tomorrow. That's pretty morbid. I sent them off with a simple goodbye. But one of them refused to leave. Haru? What did you mean by I already tried it? What? I wondered what she meant by that, but then... I already tried it. Did she mean the thing I told Yoshitsugu last night? What are you talking about? Yasunaga didn't know. Did Yoshitsugu not mention that part? Oh, were you listening in on us yesterday? That would explain everything. Ikako had done exactly that, and it wouldn't have surprised me if Haru had done the same. Rievis went back early though. Did you go ask him something later? I had no idea what she was talking about. Mochi's words supported my assumption. There was no response. This talk wasn't that big of a deal, but the silence made it feel needlessly tense. Haru. Did my voice contain a little too much irritation? I regretted speaking. But then all of that was blown away. I see. So you rose. You've tried again several times, have you not? For a moment, it felt like her mouth displayed a frighteningly maniacal grin. Haru. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. I would bet that that was the kind of Haru look-alike weird person with the sort of like face mask in front of them that appeared in front of our rooms during the first run. And I don't know if it's because Haru is for some reason like schizophrenical or possessed or something like that, or if there's actually sort of like an entity that can maybe even switch between humans. Huh? What's wrong? Let's go back, you two. Huh? Okay. Hold on, what was that? Hassan. The one who stopped me from going after the two was Mochi. This is our secret, no one else's. And it probably doesn't have anything to do with the feast. Ignore it and go to sleep. I don't think that is true, but okay. What are you talking about? Haru's weird state just now? Yep. She also went all weird in the middle of the feast, didn't she? Yeah, that happened when Ikako used the word God. You shall go no further. Dear Hassan, do your best tonight. He also left with a bombshell. Do your best tonight could only mean that he knew I had a guardian. Who was I supposed to trust? Or rather, who was sane here? It just appeared out of nowhere. So complicated. Are you talking about yourself? Oh, how mean. It was my line. I almost screamed when she popped out. What's up with you? I remembered what happened yesterday, which had me. It would not be good if you... Also, it appears that Harumaki has not healed yet. Healed? Yes. When Harumakishima lost
parents, she was left with a mental illness. Some went as far as to say that she was possessed by the Okami.
Possessed by a wolf? I've heard of possession by fox, but that's new to me. It doesn't seem unlikely, though.
Okami do not possess humans.
That how it is? Not sure I understand.
But this. It is something that would be troublesome if it could happen easily. The Okami and the other guardians, godlike entities, even the Yomotsu Okami rank highly on that route. To summon a god of that caliber, must prepare an appropriate ritual. Possession by wolf is not something that can happen so.
That was a decent explanation. I can understand that it would be weird for famous gods to just possess someone. So, was this the work of a fox or a tanuki?
We serve great Lord Shinai, should be rewarded with kinds of creatures.
But didn't the wolves get betrayed and killed by humans and other guardians? Maybe that left an opening.
That is something that we still do not know.
What do you mean?
Yasumi is actually the only place where it is said that the Okami. In Kami Fujiyoshi, that family, it is even said that it is the Yasumi's inhabitant, Yomibito.
Is that true?
Huh? Yes, could you keep it a secret, religious?
What would happen if I told them?
They would be quite upset.
Yeah, of course they would. It wouldn't make sense for them to become murderers just because they heard something like that.
A long, long time ago, when I was still a girl, Kami Fujiyoshi's people got drunk and revealed the truth behind the feast of the Yomi Purge.
Yeah, Aya herself said it last time. Just knowing the real story wasn't enough. That knowledge alone didn't motivate the wolves and Badger to kill. Back then, Chiyomi was probably just dealing with her own problem. I'd badly misunderstood her situation. It really did seem like the wolves had a change of heart due to more than simple words. This was good. I could now see a bit more of the overall picture.
Haruaki.
Oh, sorry. What is it?
You are making it scary. Say something bad?
No. Sorry. We were talking about Haru, right? So, what's up with her?
Also those doctors. She has a mental illness. However, in Kami Fujiyoshi, as well as here, people never stopped whispering that she was actually possessed by the wolf. That was why the Uematsu came to banish the corruption, and she became better.
Did you pray or chant something?
Well, something like that.
That made sense. The four families ruled through the local faith, so cracks in their beliefs were serious trouble for them. I didn't quite relate to the idea that some beastly possessions couldn't happen. But since they'd brought in the Uematsu to deal with it, it could only mean they'd wanted to handle it from a religious standpoint. In a way, that was an admission that Haru was an exception in their faith. The family heads had probably wanted to treat it as a problem that had nothing to do with the religion that hadn't worked out. Well, if they didn't allow healing her with a change of the environment, this didn't seem all that unusual. There were stories of beastly possession all over Japan. Mamiya probably had tons of them in her head. It did freak me out a bit that it happened here of all places, but I felt like I had to consider it separate from all the other strange phenomena here. By the way, did you ever hear anything about possession by Yomibito?
That would be strange as well. Yomibito are fearful creatures, have no human intelligence, virtue. Haru Makishima did not seem to fit that description.
That reminded me that last time Rikako had been declared a Yomibito, something went wrong with her mind. Haru wasn't like her at all. And since no one could think of an explanation, they began thinking that she was possessed by the Yomotsu Okami, right?
Yes, Kami Fujiyoshi had many people who knew of Yasumi's legend. They said that, corrupted or not, a god was a god, and that since she was in such an eerie place, she might have been possessed by the wolf.
And the prayers healed her, huh?
Yes. In the end, considered to be merely minor trouble caused by the...
I didn't get it completely, but it didn't seem like a big deal, and ended a while ago. But now it had come back. This is our secret, no one else's, and it probably doesn't have anything to do with the feast. Ignore it and go to sleep.
This is our secret, no one else's. Perhaps the children know something about Makishima's illness.
I doubt they'd say anything, though. If Moti was lying, then this had nothing to do with the feast, and that was what I thought too. This was a Fujiyoshi problem completely independent of... However...
I see. So you rose. You've tried again several times, have you not?
What did she mean by rose? I think I heard something like that during today's feast too.
Rise is back, especially from the... Rose is past tense.
Then rise not means don't come back from the dead? Rikako nodded. Well, that made sense. Yasumi's considered returning from Yomi to be ominous, so it served as a farewell to the dead here.
I see. So you rose. You've tried again several times, have you not?
I see. So you came back from the dead. You have tried again several times, have you not? How? How did you know that? I was being subjected to some weird death loop, and I was the only one aware of it. This was the one thing that I couldn't justify in a purely logical manner. Had she noticed it when she was supposedly possessed? Was I just overthinking it? Maybe she'd been referring to something else, or was simply spouting random nonsense? Is it possible that something supernatural really had possessed her, and it could tell what situation I was in? I didn't want to believe that, but I would keep it in mind as a possibility. However, not even Rikako seemed to know anything about this supernatural entity. Was it completely unrelated to my situation, Beast and Fujiyoshi's legends? I couldn't afford to overthink things. However, for all I knew, Haru could be the key to unraveling this strange situation. I'd have to keep that in mind. I'd gotten lost in thought again, but this time Rikako just silently waited until I was done. She too was wearing a profound expression, hanging her head and lost in thought.
We are ignorant mountain people. Wisdom was buried, and now we are dancing a pathetic dance.
Anyone would be like that in this.
Haruaki, I see.
What do you mean? Like I said before, I don't have any special powers.
What about special circumstance? Or a special power? No, it does not matter. I merely want to believe you are special. I do not know what started it, but after seeing you through the shadow of the leaves, I have been thinking. It could be because you, when I hurt my head on you, or because you called me by name. I looked for reasons, but I am still not. Perhaps none exist. I cherish you, Haruaki Fuzashi.
So I made her say it. Rikako.
It is fine. No need to say it. I am not the type of person to hope for something. I only said it because I had.
Which would be?
Please, lead us.
I can't, can I? I knew that well. I'd believed that I could escape last time, ended up failing to protect anyone. I understand why everyone here is so afraid of this. It's because you can't escape it, and it will remain until the feast comes. That's why I...
Please, don't say it. I am not doing this because I want your gratitude, comfort. I am doing this, descendant of the bedroom women servants, who must see their guests back, and as a woman who treasures you. I truly want you. You have no reason to find a place. I'm sure you have a place. Do not worry. If you have lied, I'm indebted. It is nothing compared to sacrifice mountains ask of you. So, I will help you escape. What? Well, and that is where we'll end today's episode. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all again next time. Till then, bye bye.